institutions, but also for the immigrant student population. As a result, many Haitian immigrant students tend to receive mixed reviews because of low academic success, retention, and also graduation rates. I'm hoping that the information of my research may help educators, policymakers, and people in the Haitian community that may wish to create policies and also strategies that are supportive of Haitians' student success in the long run for other immigrant students who may face similar problems. Since we have limited time today, let me go over some of the details that I found in the research. I recruited and then interviewed 4 participants, 2 males and 2 females, that dropped out of college during the first year. Just to protect their identity, I did not use their real names. The participants were Pauline, Jean, Jeto, and Adeline. The first participant is Pauline. Pauline did not really complete high school in Haiti. When she entered school in Florida, she was placed in 12th grade. After graduating from high school, she then went on to college. Pauline started at college straight after high school with pretty much limited English. Just imagine someone just come to the United States, complete just 1 year in high school, and then went on to college. Unless you have a good educational background, I'm sure you would feel a lot of difficulties in college. Pretty much, Pauline faced issues while in college, such as family's economic problems because her parents were divorced, lack of information and guidance about college, social conditions, and the difficulty with the English language. Pauline was frustrated because she was struggling to do well in her classes. She was also fighting with depression, anxiety, and then decided to drop out. The second participant is Jeto. Jeto admitted that he did not have a solid education in Haiti because the school that he attended used to have teacher shortage, where sometimes he did not go to school for weeks because some of the teachers did not bother to show up unless they got paid. Therefore, when Jeto reached college in the United States, he still had few opportunities to learn. His problem in college were the issue to learn a new educational system, the issue with the English language, lack of information about college, and social conditions. Like Pauline, Jeto failed all his classes during the first and the second semester. Then he got discouraged and then he decided to drop out at the end. The third participant is Jean. Unlike Pauline and Jeto, Jean's parents were more fortunate because his mom was teaching at an English school in Haiti, and his father was living in the United States and was also preparing for the family to come to the States. When Jean came to the U.S., he adapted very quickly to the American system because his mother was also preparing him for his new life in the U.S. Jean wanted to go to school to get a degree in music. Although his parents were fortunate and educated, however, they did not know much about the higher education system in the U.S. So Jean ended up going to the wrong college. Jean said that his admissions counselor misled him to attend that college. Jean felt like the music program at the school was not what he was looking for. He also explained to me that he was learning that things that he already knew, I guess, since he already knew how to play music since Haiti. So he found all his classes boring, and his interest in college started to decline, and then at the end of the third semester, he decided to drop out. Finally, we have Adeline. Adeline had many positive people in her life, such as her mom and also her neighbors. Her mom was supportive of her educational goals, even though she never went to college. This made Adeline wanted to go above and beyond to do well in college to make her mom proud. Adeline was capable of reading and also speaking English very well. Adeline had the resources to succeed in college. Unfortunately, Adeline started hanging out with many friends in college and then decided to move out of her mom's house. She got pregnant soon after that. Being a young mom was not easy for Adeline because she was still trying to go to school and also trying to get her son at the same time. Adeline found it extremely challenging because her mom was no longer in the picture, and she did not have the academic resources. Finally, Adeline was forced to quit college because of those issues. Well, I'm not going to have time to go over most of the details on the dissertation, but based on the interview with the participants, some of the common themes that I found with each one of them was that many immigrant students, especially during the first year of college, are usually overwhelmed because of psychological and emotional issues, the difficulty with the English language, not enough qualified teachers that could address their specific needs, classes are too difficult, and financial issues. Other important factors such as lack of information and guidance about college, and prejudice, such as students making fun of the accent. The participants in the study were selected because they went to school in Broward County. They did not finish college, and they fit all the criteria that made them qualified to speak about the topic. Just keep in mind, those participants only represent a small portion of Haitian immigrant college students in Broward County at the school they attended. What I'm trying to say is that it does not mean that all Haitian immigrant students have the same issues in college. As a result, this research may not be applicable to all Haitian English college students and other English college students elsewhere in the United States. Well, that brings us to the end of my presentation today. Thank you very much for paying attention. Now it's time for you guys to ask any questions. Yes.
The phenomenon that you're talking about in terms of the lack of academic achievement amongst Haitian immigrants, what I find very interesting is that when you compare the contemporary Haitian immigrants to the immigrants that came during my parents' generation. Now, my parents came during the Duvalier years in the 60s. What I tend to find is that the stereotype is that Haitian kids of that generation are high achieving. They tend to go to very elite schools, and they have a high participation in professional schools. So what I think that what we're demonstrating is that the class differential that we have in Haiti is reflected in the achievement gaps of different categories of Haitian children when they come to the United States in the diaspora. In that what is reflected is that, unfortunately, the same class bifurcation that we have in Haiti, the bourgeois children do well, they go to school, so on and so forth, has been replicated in the United States. In that, you look at like someone like myself, I went to a top 30 law school, I went to Oxford undergrad. My parents, though they were working class in America, they were working class people from petite bourgeois families, which is something that is a phenomenon that is very, very common amongst the Haitian diaspora. My father was an auto mechanic, my father was a registered nurse. My father also had a brother who was a physicist who studied in the Soviet Union. My mom had a brother who was a gynecologist. So they lived a middle class to working class existence in New York, but actually they were the cream of the crop, if you will, in terms of the Haitian petite bourgeois class. And the children of that generation, what I call the Duvalier generation, they tend to do very well. You know, they tend to be, doctors, lawyers, engineers, professional scholars, so on and so forth. But yet still, what I'm finding now, based on your presentation, is that what we're seeing amongst particularly post-86 immigrants to the United States from Haiti is that their children do not replicate the type of achievement that the Duvalier-era Haitians did with their kids, purely as a large consequence of the fact that they suffered from the poor educational infrastructure that existed in Haiti when they left. Would you agree with my thesis, or would you like to add a comment? Yeah,
correct. Actually, I was asked a similar question during my dissertation. Basically, those participants that are selected for my presentation, for my dissertation, were students that came to the United States from 2008.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, correct. And also, I chose this topic also because the school where I'm working at, I see a lot of students come and go after one semester, second semester. When you look around, you don't see any more Haitian students. Because I was discussing that with Dr. Lou. I'm like, what's going on? How come those students only stay at the school for a few weeks? And then I started talking to like a few people at the school, when I noticed that when we put all the schedule, we noticed that a majority of them are failing. I fell in all the classes, mainly the English classes, because all of them having difficulty with the English language.
So what we're seeing is that the class stratification in Haiti is being replicated in the diaspora with the ability of the achievement of the Haitian children, particularly in the United States. Do you know if this same paradigm is replicated in Canada, in France?
No, remember this. My dissertation only focuses on in Broward County.
Well, what do your instincts tell you in terms of those same differentials in terms of those performances?
Well, what I noticed that all the immigrant students, for example, when you take for even Miami, the students, the immigrant college student in Miami doesn't have they don't have the same issues as the one in Broward County, because, for example, when you're looking at schools like FIU and Miami-Dade, they work more closely with the Haitian community. They offer like more help towards the students, unlike Broward County.
So do you think that the fact that the Haitian community in Miami has worked hard to set itself afoot in terms of political infrastructure, that, for example, you have in Haiti, you have had political offices held by Haitians, that it's made a way for them to address their educational issues somewhat more effectively than in Broward County, where there's no real political base of a Haitian community?
Yeah, Miami has more resources than Broward County. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. And also to answer your questions about Canada, and also what I noticed, what I also put in my literature review, I also talk about Haitian immigrant students, like in New York. They tend to be more educated than the Haitians populations in South Florida.
Oh.
Yeah.
And can I add to this, since I am from Canada, Haitians in Canada also tend to be more educated compared to Haitians in United States or in South Florida. What I'm saying from that, it's because many of those Haitians going to Canada are also coming from this petite elite that you say, elite bourgeois. Many of them speak French, and if they don't speak French, there's a law in Canada that refer them to the French immersion. They have to be immersed in the French, especially if they go to the French side of Canada. So they have to go to French immersion school first, get ready to really get better at the French language, so that the language barrier will be eliminated, and then they can go on with their classes. So that helps a lot.
What this tells us is that the endemic nature, the persistent nature of the lack of developed educational infrastructure comprehensively throughout the classes in Haiti is basically creating not only a problem for the political aspirations and the social aspirations of the poor classes in Haiti, it's being reflected in the diaspora as well. So we still have to go back home to the fact that the educational infrastructure in Haiti has been poorly developed. I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, I had a conversation with Paul, and he said from 1804 until maybe 1992, in the whole Republic of Haiti, there were less than 10 high schools. Less than 10 high schools. This is a country that had 11 public high schools. Yeah. This is a travesty.
Yeah. And also to answer your question, I also discussed that in my literature review. Back, and also the comment that you made also about the Haitians that came doing in 1970s, 1980s. Back in those days, I don't know if you guys remember that the French, during the French colonizations, the French sent a lot of naval ships with that were filled with Haitian doctors, nurses. They send them to like cities like New Orleans, New York, New Jersey. That's why this area has more educated Haitians than Broward County also, and also Miami.
Can we speculate and say, because in the 1960s we have a flight of Haitian professionals leaving Haiti?
Yeah.
Is that a part of the education of Haitian diaspora? It's way better than what we have now, because during the Duvalier era, Haitian professional, Haitian scholars leave the country because of the persecution of paradox.
Right.
Probably that's one of the reasons in the 1960s we have better results in our school than Haitian then.
So, in other words, it was the class nature of the immigrants. So can we make the thesis that the class nature of the immigrant from Haiti has a strong correlation to his socioeconomic performance in whatever diaspora-based country he lives in, unless he has children that happen to be exceptional, or he himself happens to be an exceptional parent? Because I'm sure we all know stories of people who were, I don't use these terms, I don't like them, paid son who come to the United States and they have kids, 5 kids who are all Ivy League graduated students. Now, I mean, we can list examples of that, but I think we can also recognize that those are anomalies, not the norm, those are the exceptions and not the norm.
Okay, I know Sam actually did some study in Haiti, how would you compare the result? Like how you just compare like you went to a good school in Haiti, like College Notre Dame, very elite school in the northern part of Haiti. And then do you see some kind of link, some kind of connection between the performance of those elite Haitian here and the elite Haitian in Notre Dame where you went to school?
I guess I also put some recommendations.
Because I think the problem we have is the public school system in Haiti. It's not preparing those kids to compete.
There's a collective.
After 1986, yes, the crisis began.
Yes.
It's a crisis.
Even before 1986, in my parents' era, and these are people who grew up in Haiti in the 40s and 50s, there's a general lack of confidence amongst Haitians, almost culturally, in public educational infrastructure. That it is believed that the best way to educate your children is to send them to a private school. It's almost endemic to the culture of Haitian society. Because we have to remember something. If we go back into the history of Haiti, early history, when Henri Christophe had the most expansive public educational system in his empire, in the nation state of Haiti, when Wyatt took over in 1822, Wyatt destroyed the whole educational infrastructure of the country, intentionally to deny the educational attainment of the masses who did not make up his class at all. We have to remember something. Christophe made educational mandatory on every child, even to the elites, to the punishment of penalty of law. You know, so realize that this lack of functioning public educational infrastructure in Haiti is something that goes back to the birth of the Republic, if you will. I mean, the post-Dessalinian birth of the Republic. So this is almost a cultural problem we have in the psyche of the Haitian people in their lack of confidence in public educational institutions. The question becomes, how do we change this worldview amongst Haitians? Because this also becomes a political problem in the United States. Haitians love charter schools. They love them. Charter schools cannibalize public education in this country. So you have a community, a Haitian community, which is the most economically disserved of the black diaspora as an immigrant group, supporting the policies that are most destructive to the overall black community in their educational models. So this becomes a serious crisis of political education in the psyche of the Haitian community in the diaspora. So these are things that have to be overcome for the Haitian community to be an effective political force in the diaspora if it chooses to function in the diaspora. And the same problems have to be overcome in Haiti, because this lack of confidence in public resources is really what is destroying the Republic of Haiti from the beginning. Would you agree with that?
I have a question. Okay. D'abord, est-ce que vous parlez créole?
Oui, vous m'êtes parlé.
Est-ce que vous parlez créole?
Oui, je parle.
Ok, l'important pour me faire intervention créole parce que je connais grand pile mon Haïti qui a regardé vidéo ça. Et ça nous sort expliquer vraiment important, c'est pas seulement pour nous-mêmes intellectuels qui éduqués pour nous parler bah ça, il faut que nous parlions pour gens qui pas haïtiens qui pas trop bien comprennent anglais. Oui. Et d'ailleurs le problème que vous adressez à, il y a ça là-dedans tout. Dit en pile jeune ça qui échoué dans le collège haïtien et il y a un problème dans English class yo. OK, donc nous besoin parler ça en créole. Alors, est-ce que c'est possible pour ta faire un petit résumé par exemple de études sociales réalisées en créole? Et deuxièmement, deuxième question que nous avons est-ce que tu as fait interview avec jeunes qui a échoué dans l'école dans Broward County boy site là pour connaître qui ça a pensé pour est-ce que y a une raison personnelle qui fait que y a échoué et puis est-ce que ou pas comment que tu gagné de discipline yo plus échoué que l'autre? Est-ce que il y a une corrélation ça entre type discipline entre filière yo choisi dans le collège là et le fait que yo échoué ou bien yo réussi?
Oui, on a discuté ça, majorité, mais c'est même genre, soit l'école que vous avez fait dans Broward College. Si vous ne comprenez pas l'anglais vraiment, Dr. Lucas dit ça parce que monsieur teach English, vous comprenez? Si vous ne comprenez pas l'anglais vraiment, there's no way vous pouvez même continuer parce que c'est avec basic English que commence l'école ça, vous comprenez? So, Timon sa yo, le yo commencé avec classe, le yo commencé l'interview, tout le monde qui a participé à l'interview, ordre yen, ma bonne surtout est différent ça, il y a des gens qui parlent, qui comprennent, qui parlent anglais, ou en parce que pour ces gens, ils commencent à parler anglais depuis les Haïti, mais leur font cette chose c'est comme ça pour expliquer, mais les gens qui viennent ici, à cause parents vraiment pas comprendre le système d'éducation college université des États-Unis. So monsieur vient aller dans l'anglais pour on ça me dit là. So majorité de ces gens problème yo gagne c'est un problème anglais. Les fini yo feel là quand songer c'est dans l'école yo aller ça pas veut dire que toute l'école broward qui a le même problème dans tout. On comprend? Dans l'école italien, il n'y a pas de cultural groups. On comprend qui a mon haïtien qui parler avec eux. On comprend? So, les filles, il n'y a pas de teachers vraiment. C'est même genre, soit aller dans l'école, il n'y a pas de teachers vraiment qui comprennent. Il n'y a pas de teachers haïtiens vraiment qui comprennent comme si un problème il y a. On comprend? Les petits gens, ils allaient dans le collège. Ils viennent avec des problèmes ça. Après, premier, deuxième semestre, vous êtes découragé, vous allez à l'école encore.
Ok. Alors, ça me fait besoin de clarifier pour moi. Est-ce que pas une association entre domaine, entre spécialisation, vous choisi entre là-dedans et le fait que vous échouez plus?
Eh bien, avant d'aller dans aucun domaine dans le collège, c'est même chose, soit pas dans le collège pour un education major. Avant de commencer le major, il faut prendre basic classes. Si vous aller dans le média, vous pouvez comprendre ces classes. Si vous ne pouvez pas faire dans basic classes, vous ne pouvez pas aller dans média classes.
Ok, donc c'est des jeunes qui, depuis dans basic,
dans basic classes.
Ok, est-ce que vous avez fait interview avec eux côté que vous demandez qui ça vous pensez de système non et qui ça vous pensez que fait que vous avez échoué? Ça est important pour nous connaître l'opinion.
Eh bien,
qui raison fait que vous avez échoué? Qui ça vous pensez?
Eh bien, nous discutons tout ça dans la dissertation. Le problème c'est un problème anglais, comprendre anglais.
Vous tout dit ça?
Yeah, comprendre anglais. Vous comprenez? Aller dans la classe, si vous ne comprenez pas anglais, vous ne pouvez pas jouer.
Il y a un aspect que je considère aussi. Il y a un aspect racial aussi.
Yeah.
Parce que, pas oublier que, en Miami, il y a une plus grosse diaspora des communautés immigrants, les Jamaïcains, les Trinidadiens, ou toute la Caraïbe qui est en Miami. Miami, c'est une zone qui est chargée avec les immigrants. Broward County, généralement, ça c'est le county blanc. C'est le county blanc. Et Moutsa, il n'y a pas de qualité d'infrastructure qui va confort à les immigrants que vous avez en Miami. So, ce n'est pas seulement un problème de manque d'infrastructure la caille qui nous a gagné avec il y a beaucoup de racisme qui est en Broward qui n'est pas la première.
Ok, donc vous pensez que il y a variable racisme dans la donne?
Oui, même discuter
ça. Vous pensez que peut-être que c'est parce que le système ça, il y a plus racisme, il peut-être en défaveur de black et immigrants qui fait que vous échouez plus?
Ça doit avoir une corrélation avec une étude. Jeunes noirs américains en Broward, éducationnellement comparé avec noirs américains au Miami, et jeunes haïtiens en Broward comparé avec haïtiens en Miami. Parce que même gap, même différence gagnée entre haïtiens en Broward et Miami, c'est peut-être gagné avec noirs américains en Miami et Broward. So, aspect racial, ça, qui affecte tout noir et pas seulement haïtien.
Il y a une demande que l'État fait dissertation, il demande une présentation, il demande une question. Ça, pour qu'on ait une dissertation, son bagage qui est limité, il demande quelle ressource. Si on va comparer school avec Broward County, Haitian dans Broward County avec Haitian Miami, son bagage qui est pour éternité, on va prendre la point plus, on va besoin de quelles ressources. On va dire là, les finis.
C'est pas que c'est blâmer pour manquer d'effort, mais c'est pour le futur.
Yeah, maybe the next étude KFM doit comparer ça.
Oui, variable ça et qui j'en a affecté, bref, gentleman a dirigé l'école.
Mais on commentaire qui m'a fait, c'est que élèves haïtiens ça que vous parlez de dans cette dissertation, élèves sont victimes d'un système qui privilégie blanc dans le pays ça. Par exemple, regarde de façon que même location l'école, ségrégation. Par exemple, soit nous l'école, ok. Par exemple, nous avons Dillard High School right here. Côté que je gradué, fait de 9 à 11th grade. Now, on compare Dillard High School avec, let's say, Plantation High School, qui est predominantly white students. Dillard High School, 99.9 black students. Et le professeur nous, c'est noir. Vous comprenez? Now, when in Dillard High School, l'école de Dillard High School a moins de ressources. Ok? Pour aider les élèves noirs à overcome some issues. Right? Pendant ce temps, on va aller dans Plantation High School, it's well equipped. Vous comprenez? Et puis l'autre bagaille qui est important, c'est que c'est structure d'éducation ici. L'éducation pays, ça, il est en crise. Ça veut dire que conseil haïtien, que ou trinidadien, whatever, que surtout dans la minorité que vous êtes, vous avez subi crise ça. Now, l'autre facteur que vous avez fait. 2 ans passés, ok? Monsieur qui crée une loi dans Florida, il a passé un bill, il est 1720. Dans 1720, ça, il a éliminé toutes web courses. Ça veut dire que ni anglais, ni mathématiques, toute classe pour être capable d'aider un immigrant qui n'est pas intégré dans la culture américaine, qui n'est pas immersé dans le langage, ils ont éliminé tout. En fait, que côté m'enseigner à l'University College, nous n'avons pas qu'une courses encore. Ils ont éliminé tout. Imaginez, ok, m'enseigner en composition anglaise avec littérature. Ou des élèves qui viennent dans la classe, moi, moi qui ne sais pas exagérer, je ne vais pas exagérer. Je parle même élèves qui fait dans le pays, élèves ça ne pas quand même écrire un bon paragraphe en anglais, dans la langue maternelle. Imaginez pour un élève qui est immigrant, qui passe faire middle school ou bien high school in the United States. C'est que l'élève ça veut dire, ok, dis-nous ça m'a fait. Tant que nous-mêmes comme professeurs, nous avons mis là que nous avons fait. Pendant ce temps, nous venons dans le collège. Nous expectons que nous avons perfectionné à the college level, right? Now, le problème qui est arrivé, c'est que monsieur, il y a une raison que monsieur Lawmaker Sayo passe bilan. C'est un deal qui est introduit par un wealthy businessman. You see, pour prendre businessman, nous mettons dans l'éducation. Ça, c'est le résultat pour gagner. Qui ça qu'on est dans l'éducation? Hein? Même si nous sommes secrétaire d'éducation, on fait qui dans le business. Qui ça? Ok. Ça que pour conclure, c'est que le fait qu'on est que, ok, nous avons dépensé combien de billions of dollars for those immigrant students. C'est que, of course, il ne faut pas utiliser le langage là.
Clairement.
Clairement. C'est ça que je dis, indirectement. Il dit que, well, par élèves ça, ils ne sont pas vraiment successful dans la classe. Therefore, exactement. C'est pire gros crise. Même les élèves haïtiens qui sont dans English Level 1, en vérité, parce que je parle créole, je comprends français, je parle anglais, je comprends ça, on veut dire. Mais son crise que lié. Oui, son crise. Parce que oui, son crise. Anyway.
A question from online. Oh, go ahead. You want to go first?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Online how do you compare high school education in Haiti versus the United States? They said, I attended a lycée in Haiti and feel I was better equipped to take and write a piece of dissertation than the current high school graduate in the United States.
This is the beneficiary of that education.
Yes, and it decided the life of your research on Haitian student because he's a Haitian guy too. He gets education from in Haiti. And then it was like, how do you take that piece comme pour pas le faire comme ça comment que qu'on a better equipped you te better equipped en Haïti pour écrire qu'on fait si on s'en lève ici tout des t'es not be better equipped comment faut des cas expliquer
et même c'est même ça faire expliquer et also il dépend que les musiques des États-Unis tout on dit non majorité comme dans le majorité de gens qui viennent ici dans la recherche moyen on commence il y a petit monde ça en 2008 on prend imaginez c'est même pour exemple pour ce pôle on petit monde vient ici ou pas fini high school à Haïti là aux États-Unis you just mettre dans 12 grade ou faire 1 year dans high school après ça va aller dans college si mon ça pas vraiment une strong foundation là aller dans college c'est struggle avec English classes and also je retourner dans l'exemple dont tu as parlé des ressources là dans l'établissement c'est une raison ni si tellement immigrant Haitian students ont un problème en anglais Broward County vraiment avec cette Florida vraiment il n'y a pas de ressources vraiment pour tout le monde ça même si tu as un problème anglais vrai mais si vous avez des ressources vraiment qui t'a aidé en plus dans tout le monde ça va drop out dans college vous comprenez
Une question pour nous. Moi, je ne sais tout ça que nous dit, mais regardez l'autre secteur, l'autre ratio, notre ethnicité en Floride. Hispanic Big Brothers and Sisters Foundation. Il y a plusieurs secteurs qui gagnent. Pour qui ça nous-mêmes, comme secteur éducation, comme diaspora qui gagne éducation, nous pas formons un bagage pour ça côté. TIC, c'est ça qui a struggle.
Parce que diaspora haïtien divisé en même genre haïtien divisé la caille.
Oui, bon,
les haïtiens qui ont maîtrise, qui ont éduqué, ils n'ont pas de respect pour conditions. Toi, qui as malheureuse, qui as vu les États-Unis, parce que les États-Unis vous éduquent.
Moi, d'accord, ça va dire. Mais éventuellement, ce n'est pas seulement nous-mêmes qui c'était toujours un problème, ça. Nous sommes sûrs qu'il y a d'autres techniciens.
Oui, d'accord avec vous. Mais un bagage qui n'est pas jamais négligé, c'est grâce en Haïti, il y a une manifestation qui a une nuance très difficile de comprendre.
Je comprends.
Parce que les Haïtiens ne sont pas vraiment honnêtes avec des gens, bagages, ça affecte le développement socio-économique du pays.
Moi, je comprends ce que tu dis. Mais est-ce que nous devons jamais essayer? Parce que il faut qu'ils vont l'heure pour que nous commencions à faire un travail pour changer notre mentalité. Sinon, peut-être fini. Si je dois plus penser que oui, c'est pour la mentalité haïtienne, nous ne pouvons pas changer, nous ne pouvons jamais réaliser.
D'accord avec vous.
Ok. Est-ce que vous pouvez répondre à une question ça? Même je vais parler de IDESA, porter IDESA tout déjà. Plusieurs haïtiens sont éducatrices et tout, m'a enseigné Ménosco. Plusieurs fois, nous avons des gens qui délinquants, qui voulaient drop out. Nous avons essayé Kembeyo. Nous demandons comment faire nous avons big brother or big sisters for these students. Il domaine est très bonne, mais regardez, vous avez un representative dans le gouvernement. Est-ce que Jean Maloué, c'est ça nous besoin de faire en tant qu'haïtiens? Allouer mon représentative dans l'éducation dans le gouvernement, parler de IDESA, venir en groupe haïtien, dire nous besoin Big Brother, nous besoin de mettre genre de bagages. Parce que, comme on se dit tout à l'heure, Dr. Joseph, Dr. Lou, gagne l'argent pour l'éducation, mais l'argent, il est dépensé dans d'autres choses. Si mon n'a pas remarqué que communauté en voulait un bagage, voulait une différence, nous pas fait, nous pas mettre pieds nous vraiment à terre pour nous dire voilà ça nous besoin pour Haitian community. We would like to see big brothers, big sisters for our Haitian students or for students in general, period.
Eventually,
we need to, exactly, we need to go to those people, to those representatives. I do it. I went to see, exactly. I went to see Commissioner Monestin. I went to see Commissioner, I'm not sure if he's Commissioner called Ademon. He's Keon Ademon for North Miami. You have to go to those representatives. If you're really saying, I am for education, what are you doing for education? That's what they keep saying. I am for education, I am for education. But what are you doing for it? We need to go as a people in front of those representatives and tell them, this is what we would like to see. And keep mobilizing.
C'est que même les Haïtiens n'ont pas de confiance en institutions publiques, Haïtiens n'ont pas de confiance en capacité du gouvernement pour essayer de réparer le problème.
That's so true. That's a good point.
C'est un gros problème. Parce que vraiment, les Haïtiens aux États-Unis, qui presque plus que 50 ans, pas vraiment, c'est récemment qu'on commence à voir la communauté haïtienne mobilisée politiquement effectivement.
So let's take advantage of it.
C'est un gros problème. So, tel ce que nous avons dit au résultat de tout discours, ça, c'est que le problème nous gagne la caille, manifester le problème nous gagne la diaspora. Et moi-même, j'aime mon bagage, si nous ne pas ranger le problème nous gagne la caille, nous ne sommes pas capables de ranger en diaspora.
Donc, on va aussi penser que c'est nous-mêmes dans la diaspora qui vont fixer pour nous donner la caille.
C'est un problème. Parce que, et en plus, et je ne vais pas faire ça pour Haïtiens qui sont en Haïti, parce que nous ne pas faire ça. Il y a un pile Haïtien en Haïti qui ne parle pas de aucun bagage de diaspora entre politiques haïtiens.
Pour ceux qui sont prêts, c'est pas moi-même, j'aime bien les choses.
You have a question on the line?
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Go. Yeah.
On l'a demandé, conditions économiques haïtiennes qui États-Unis, plus bon que ça qui Haïti. Comment faire ça par favoriser Timounio gain accès à plus bonne éducation?
L'éducation ici, hein?
Mais ça me permet de dire.
Ça fait que nous avons plus propre, nous avons plus moyens ici pour étudier. Ça veut dire l'espoir en paix, la peine en paix.
Question ça fait une assumption. Assumption, c'est que parce que Haïtien aux États-Unis plus bon parce que Haïtien.
Il y a directement plus bon des conditions économiques.
Exactement. Parce que si vous avez $1 aux États-Unis et $1 en Haïti, c'est pas le même dollar.
Non, il n'est pas même. Il est 175 plus. 70 gouttes plus. 70 fois plus.
Ouais, mais ça, pas souvent ça. La vie ici plus chère. Même si Haïtien ici est plus moyen, il y a vivre dans le pays.
Alors que tu as parlé de
La parole de la peine en poche.
Système contexte économique, il y a une relation avec le contexte éducation. C'est pareil, ça c'est de la nature de tout le monde parlé là. 6 conditions haïtiennes en diaspora, il y a une corrélation directement avec les positions économiques des Haïtiens qui sont à l'école. Et Timon n'a pas performant là, il n'a pas fait bien à l'école là parce que parents, généralement, il y a un manque de moyens.
All right, on a move on. So, on a remercié encore Dr. Sam Joseph. On applaudit s'il vous plaît. Non, moi c'est Florence Clerval et puis il m'a demandé de me faire host pour me présenter notre présentateur. Alors, prochain présentateur nous gagnons après-midi, il est Dr. Lucien Joseph. D'ailleurs, ça c'est le livre que je vais acheter dans le Dr. Lucien Joseph. Livre intitulé From Toussaint to Price Mars. Et puis, Dr. Lucien Joseph, c'est un scholar, intellectual and theologian. And from University of Texas at Dallas, he's currently an adjunct professor of English and Literature at Palm Beach State College. He is the author of Race, Religion, and the Haitian Revolution, essays on faith, freedom, and decolonization. So let's welcome together Dr. Lou ou Dr. Lucien Joseph.
Merci un peu pour l'introduction. Ça va me rectifier quelque chose. C'est-à-dire que nous avons publié qui est beaucoup, parce que vous avez publié en 2013, 2013, ça veut dire qu'il y a quelques updates. Je connais là, moi enseigné dans University College et je fais PhD moi dans la littérature avec histoire intellectuelle à l'University of Texas at Dallas, and then je fais le PhD
dans Christian Theology avec éthique dans l'University of Pretoria. English, okay, the University of Pretoria in South Africa. Et côté moi écrit une thèse on Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Okay, so I published many books, 8 books. My most recent book is on the Haitian Marxist intellectual, the founder of Haitian Communist Party, Jacques Romain, and just came out on April 21st, 2017. So I'm going to change the course of the conversation. I know we've been talking about education or educational crisis in the Haitian population in Broward County. But I do want to bring your attention to the past, okay? To the past. I want to talk about the Haitian Revolution. I have entitled my paper, Rethinking the Intellectual Foundation of the Haitian Revolution, a Letter for Freedom and Independence, July 1792. Now, this is what I'm going to do, okay? So I'm going to try to be fair to benefit my multilingual audience. So I'm going to do some in English, some in Creole, and some in French. Since the letter was written in French, so you guys can look at it. I give you a copy of that letter. And then that letter is also reproduced in my favorite book by Dr. Lucien Joseph, From Toussaint to Poissmars. So you can look at it. So what I'm going to do here, I want to talk about the concern, the issue at stake here, okay? Then I'm going to give you a historical background of that letter, on est très important, okay? Qui écrit dans le mois de juillet 1792. Et puis tout que on va parler un peu de rhétorique letlan, stratégie qui est utilisée. Mais ça que je voulais faire ressortir is that this letter is so pivotal, okay, for us to understand first the intellectual foundation of the Haitian Revolution. What I'm saying is that Haitian revolutionaries were just not a group of men and women who were just fighting with avec guns. They used words, language, okay, to empower each other and to create fear. So this letter, I would argue, is one of the most important pieces in Haitian intellectual history. In fact, I would argue this is one of the foundational texts when we talk about Haitian intellectual ideas, where we came from. This is what I do. I'm an intellectual historian, so I'm trying to show that the Haitian Revolution has an intellectual foundation. And secondly, I want to dispel the myth and Haitian revolutionary studies, spécialement qui propagandé by some Haitian historians, que je ne vais pas répéter non yo, malheureusement, guys like David Gegas, right? And then French historians Yves Debache, Gabriel Debien, François Giron. Next time you propose it, they said that, okay, the African slaves had no concept of freedom. In fact, that's one. They also argued that the African slaves, or enslaved Africans to be precise, in Saint-Domingue, did not think about what we call general emancipation, general freedom at the beginning. or they did not want independence from the French colony. So I use that historic letter to disprove that, right? So I'm attempting to do two things. To prove that point that the Haitian revolutionaries, did not articulate any concept of freedom or independence. Secondly, I want to show that this letter, we have an intellectual history in Haiti, and this letter is a historic example. So, I began, I'm going to do some reading, forgive me. So, in the field of Haitian revolutionary studies, the idea of general liberty and universal emancipation has been contested by minority but powerful voices and historians. Particularly, some Haitian historians have argued that the enslaved African population in the French colony of Saint-Domingue had not been preoccupied with an early notion of general emancipation, and neither had the natural drive to rupture the shackles of slavery and put an end to the French colonial regime. Many historians have unconvincingly contested that Liberté Générale was a latter manifestation in progressive thought as the slaves themselves moved swiftly toward freedom, independence, and decolonization. So in this presentation, we argue that the resolution toward general liberty and independence were one singular commitment for the enslaved African population. These twin and inseparable ideas did not develop in the latter phase of the Haitian Revolution. We also contend that general emancipation as, first, total independence, second, decolonization, was already an early goal that came to achievement in the unfolding event leading to a double event. The triumph of the Haitian Revolution and the founding of the Republic of Haiti. However, it was conditioned by a range of events in which Saint-Dominguean slaves were obliged to fight for freedom, which translated into a matter of practical reality. In the Haitian scholarship, revolutionary scholarship, for example, David Gagas articulates that slaves' notion about freedom were all ambiguous and, quote, conditioned by their perception of what was possible or probable. Yves de Bache, as you mentioned his name already, Gabriel Bien and François Giroud, in various ways, manners, contend implausibly that the urge for freedom was not strong among Saint-Dominguean slaves, or counted by little to the Haitian Revolution. So, but this letter is very important for many reasons. First, he has completely reconfigured the ideological chronology of the Haitian Revolution, according to Nick Nesbitt. Secondly, this letter absolutely contradicts the famous French biographer Noélie Pierre Pluchon, qui écrit one of the most important but controversial biographies on this literature. So his categorical denial of the prevalence of general liberty among the slaves at Saint-Domingue. Another important note is that the letter might help us to look at the narratives of the revolution from different centers and from different perspectives of the individual made it successful world event. For example, the Haitian Revolution, current studies in the Haitian Revolution emphasize